A critical development in the manhunt for the assassin who gunned down conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Officials just released this image. They are asking for the public's help in identifying the person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting. CNN's Nick Watt is following this breaking news. Nick, you are in Orem, Utah. This is a really significant moment that this is being put out to crowdsource.
Absolutely. So, Dana, we were told that they made some key breakthroughs overnight. One of those breakthroughs was good, clean video images of this suspect. Now, we were told about 2.5 hours ago that investigators were using technology to try to find an identity from that video image. We were told they were pretty confident that they could do that, but if they couldn't, then they were going to release the images to the public to try and get the public's help. They have now released those images on X, on other platforms, and it shows, as we were told earlier, a college-aged male who, as investigators say, could very easily have blended in with the crowd here on campus. 3,000 people here to see Charlie Kirk yesterday. They described this young male suspect as college age, able to blend in. So the other key breakthroughs that they discussed, they have found the weapon, a high-powered bolt-action rifle with some writings. They are going through those writings. FBI analysts looking at the writings, also at the weapon, also trying to find an identity. It is now coming up on 22 hours since the shooting, and of course with every hour this task gets harder. They found the weapon in a wooded area behind the campus in the direction that they know the suspect fled, but the suspect himself was not found in that wooded area, and as an FBI special agent said this morning, they don't know how far he has gone. So they've been gathering video imaging from security cameras, from the many students who obviously had cell phones on them. We've seen the image of a person running across the roof just after the shots were fired. They now have all the doorbell camera video from the neighborhood through which the suspect fled, and of course they will just be trying to piece this together to try and track this suspect as far as they possibly can. But this is a major breakthrough. This is also a major admission that they have not been able to, I would assume, use the technology they were using on those images to try and draw an identity themselves. That is why they have now thrown this open to the public, asking for the public's help, as they have been from the moment the investigation started. The FBI says they've had over 130 tips by this morning, images, video. They want more of that, and now they want the public's help in trying to identify the person shown in these images. Dana?
I also understand that we have some new information about some words and phrases that were imprinted on the gun that certainly could give some indication of perhaps at least some of the motive here.
Correct. This is reporting from my colleague Evan Perez that there was some writing found with the gun, with the ammunition, and they are obviously analyzing that to see if this writing leads them to an identity of the suspect, or if it is perhaps, ramblings on current cultural events. Analysts are going through that right now. Now, Evan Perez also reports that they found a screwdriver with that weapon, because one of the questions that I've had is, okay, sure, this suspect could have blended into a crowd on a college campus, but could a suspect blend into a crowd on a college campus while carrying a long gun? Now, one theory, perhaps, is that that screwdriver that they found would have been used to disassemble and assemble that rifle. Now, we've also heard from authorities that they've put together a timeline. They believe that the suspect arrived just by the campus at 11:52 a.m. local time. That is 28 minutes before the shooting, 8 minutes before the Charlie Kirk event began. They have tracked the suspect up stairwells across the roof to the shooting position that we believe is on top of a college campus building, with about a 200-yard straight shot to where Charlie Kirk was sitting when he was hit. So major developments, Dana, but still no suspect in custody. They have they have taken in 2 people for questioning over the course of the investigation. They've been questioned and released. They are completely out of the picture in terms of the investigation. No stigma on them whatsoever. They are searching for this person. They've just released the images of the person who they desperately want to find. Dana?
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that very important reporting. And on these new developments, we're going to continue the conversation with retired FBI Special Agent Daniel Brunner. Thank you so much for being here. First, what does the fact that they have released this photo tell you as somebody who has been involved in FBI investigations like this?
Well, it tells me that the investigation is going through its normal course of action. I believe that this is just another step in putting more pressure on this individual to make a mistake. And that right there is the key where investigators are looking for, is they want this individual to make a mistake. He may have planned the next 24, 48 hours after the incident, but at some point he's going to get tired. He's going to make a mistake. He's going to get hungry. He's going to get cold. Very much similar to the Luigi Mangione manhunt, where he made a mistake. And that's all that it takes, is one small mistake. And he's on the run. So this individual planned for this. He prepared his escape plan, but he's already making mistakes by leaving the rifle, leaving the screwdriver, and clearly, getting digital evidence where he was tracked across the campus. And they're going to go backwards from there. They're going to watch him where he approaches campus. And from there, they're going to go even further back. Did he walk down around campus? Did he approach campus? They're going to look at all the digital evidence that's out there. But another key thing that they're doing here is pushing this photograph out, is people who have digital phones. They may have captured his image. And that's why it'll motivate individuals to say, well, maybe I'll turn in my phone now for evidence, which will increase the amount of intelligence that they can get.
Oh, that's interesting, that this might be a way for them to just get more information and more, as you said, evidence from people who have not yet given that to law enforcement. Can you just explain, when you talk about the digital element of the investigation, what that looks like?
Well, there's multiple aspects to the digital evidence. You've got your telephones, you've got your cell phones, you've got cameras, you've got multiple things coming in from different sides. We live in a digital world. We live in a digital world where things can come in. You've got aircraft, you've got cell phones, computers. He's going to leave a digital signature out there. And that's what they're going to look for. That's what they're going to try and find.
And the fact that there was writing on this weapon, again, we don't know. Of course, this could suggest motive or a set of motives, but does that do anything for investigators when it comes to tracking this person down?
Well, the FBI has a lot of tools at their disposal, and one of the greatest tools is the Behavioral Analysis Unit, the BAU at Quantico. I'm sure they're all getting all of this data. They're getting all of the digital evidence along with the writing. They're going to analyze it. They're going to try and paint the picture of who his mental state was leading up to the attack, during the attack. They're going to look at everything. Nothing will get unturned. Nothing's going to be not analyzed. So they're going to try and figure out where he may be next, where he is going to proceed. And they obviously have the direction of travel where they've recovered the weapon. And they're going to look at possibly, does he have other resources? Is he communicating with other people? They're going to look at cell phone towers to see what cell phones were being utilized in the area. And they're going to look at that and see if there is a pattern. If there's one common number that seems to have moved across campus, they'll start analyzing that. It's a lot of data. There's a lot of information, but putting this out there, putting his face out there, increases the number of people that are looking out their window. The best thing that happened in this community here is everyone knows in that community, knows their streets. They know their neighborhood. They're going to look for an individual matching this description that just doesn't fit the neighborhood. The FBI has just increased the number of eyes that are looking around for this individual now.